What's up, guys? Today I figured I'd do a little video and show you how to replace a storm window from a screen door. So if you have one like this, stick around. I'll show you how to take it apart, get your measurements and everything. Because back in the day you used to take it to any hardware store and you get it done, but these days not so much. Lowe's is the only one that cuts plexiglass. And I'm going to show you how to cut plexiglass real easy and better than Lowe's does. So first thing you want to do is, you don't have no window in it no more and you bust it. So I'm going to use plexiglass, and we got to get this frame square. So we measure from that corner to this corner, that corner to this corner. Once you got the same measurements, then you're square. And after you're square, then you can measure left to right and then top to bottom. Write those measurements down. There's also a seal in here, and this does shrink after the glass is out of it. You can take a look down here and see how much that actually shrunk vertical and horizontal. So this is just going to come out. Now mine comes out easy, but there will be broken glass in here, so you're going to have to be careful when you're taking it out. Even though it's tempered glass, it will still cut you. To get this frame apart, there's like little aluminum type L's in here, and this one comes apart quite easy because it got broke. So we're gonna have to address that and fix it. But anyway, on the other side you can see there's like a little spring there, and it rides in a keyway, and you can see kind of how that just slips in there. And on this side you can see where that piece is broke. The next measurement you're going to want to take is you could see where that seal butts up against. Mine happens to be 3/8. So when you measure left to right and then the top to the bottom, you have to take into account that 3/8 of an inch. So 3/8 here and 3/8 there, that you got to add another 3/4 of an inch to your glass or your plexiglass, whatever you're using, in order to get it right. These pieces here, you want to be aware that when you set the glass in here, if you go the full 3/8, you're gonna touch this piece here. So I recommend subtracting like 1/8 of an inch. Don't go to full 3/8, subtract like 1/8 of an inch. So instead of 3/4, do 5/8, and you add 5/8 to the measurement across and down. That'll give you your final measurement. So this is the stuff I'm using, and my dimensions was 25 and 7/8, and that's going from left to right, and then 38 and a half. So adding the 3/8 would be 26 and 5/8 by 39 and a quarter. Now I did already cut that, but when I went to put it in, I noticed those little L's that I was just talking about were, 1/8 inch touching. So I got to cut 1/8 of an inch. The tool I recommend to buy, it's invaluable, is this. It's called Plastilite, and it's made for cutting plexiglass. You're going to set up a straight edge so this can follow it. So you can see how I have that, and all we're going to do is just draw that blade right across. And I'll try to do this with one hand, but you can see how this cuts. And you just keep going over and over until you get about halfway through, and then break it off. So that's what the edge looks like after you get done. So to clarify the measurement with the depth on the frame, we were at 39 and a quarter, but you want to make that an 1/8 inch less, so you're at 39 1/8. The same thing width-wise going left to right. You want to be, we were supposed to be at 26 5/8, but we want to be at 26 1/2 to make it an 1/8 inch less. Alright, so the other thing I want to mention is the thickness of your glass. I didn't discuss that in the beginning. You want to make sure you get the right thickness. Like Lowe's and Home Depot, they're, you know, 80 thousandths, 93 thousandths. I got this at Ace Hardware, and it's spec'd out at 100 thousandths of an inch. It's supposed to be 1/8, and that's what the tempered glass was supposed to be. And the tempered glass runs a little under, which it was 1/17. This at Ace was supposed to be 1.0, and that's what we are actually at, 1.0. So that's 100 thousandths of an inch in thickness. If you can't get the exact stuff, is take some pliers and just gently squeeze the track to tighten it up some. But don't go too tight, because you won't get the rest of the frame off. And I suggest leaving at least the bottom loose in case you ever have to replace it again. And even the parts that go in here, I would suggest leaving them loose so you can get it apart, especially if you're squeezing these together to make a tighter seal. Alright, so up on that little L bracket, that ended up, the little ball with that spring I showed you, cracked, so I just used some JB Weld on it. And then down here, in case it ever happens to me again that I got to replace it, I put open here. This way I know this is the channel that isn't crimped as much, and these parts here, the L brackets, the springs I left looser, so I know I can pry this and this corner off easier.